This video is about losing yourself. This idea of losing yourself, like what's the actual issue here? We've already noticed that we live in a lost society. This world is depressing. We don't know what we want. Most of us don't have purpose because life is kind of about finding your purpose, about figuring out what you actually like, what you don't like, what you want to create, what is you. Kind of like pulling the strings of your inner self and expressing them outwards, leaving spots of you everywhere. You never lost yourself. You just feel lost. That is a feeling. Also, it's not a negative experience at all, but it feels heavy. It's a difficult process to go through. And let me explain something. There are two reasons mainly that I've noticed, at least in me. Losing yourself, like, feeling like you have no purpose, no idea why you're here, completely disconnected, isolated, loneliness is a huge factor right here. It can amplify it or even be the reason. It can be a traumatic experience. Like something happened, it completely threw you off your normal structure of life. You don't know what to do, right? So that can be one of the reasons. And the second thing, which is something that most people don't realize, is being comfortable in the discomfort of not having a purpose. Living your life on autopilot and not realizing that it's something that is not allowing you to experience more life. And for me, the reason why I got lost inside my mind, why I felt isolated, abandoned, completely not connected to anything and anyone. Not a lot of people go through it, but it's not just about derealization. It's in general feeling like you are not connected to this world. You do not belong here. Literally no sense of identity, no sense of connectedness and recognizing yourself in this reality and just not having purpose in general, feeling lost. We know what I'm talking about. In my personal experience, it was both of these things. It was a traumatic experience. I'm not the same person as I was before. And it was you can watch the derealization video. I explained like the whole story there. I feel like biologically I've changed after that. And psychologically, definitely trauma shifts your entire course of psychological evolution. It was trauma, but it was also just the normal, teenage experience of self-exploration and the comfort of not having a purpose. I feel like school and the whole educational system, that's a whole different idea. There's a whole different video, a whole different topic. The comfort that the educational system plants in you, the comfort of not really knowing where you're going, but choosing the least unaligned thing to your soul and kind of making it your whole purpose, your goal, kind of like forcing something that you don't even resonate with to be your goal and structure and routine of life. It's like giving you three colors, red, blue, and green, and you have to choose your favorite while you literally like purple. So that comfort of not liking your reality is planted in you within the educational system. So I had that, and that's normal. It's not normal. I mean, it's not healthy, but it's common. It's usual. So I had that. That comfort of not having a purpose was one of the reasons why I lost myself, and I felt like I'm not myself. That's needed in order to find yourself. So let's start. And I could go into detail and explain how I lost myself during my derealization disorder because it was a big thing. It took a chunk of my life. 1 or 2 full years, I was completely not here. Completely, like I was healing. You could call it like healing. No, I was gone. I was gone. I'm not trying to do one of those things, so check out my other video. Something happened. It changed me and I lost myself. I was at a stage in my life where I had two choices. So I was like 16 and I realized that me getting very good grades and working towards something that I don't even want isn't gonna work because I'm working towards unhappiness. I'm working with no purpose. I'm working with a goal, but with no purpose because it is not connected to my heart. And I don't even know what I want, but I know that whatever I'm working towards is not what I want. Whatever I've been trained to want is not what I actually want. So I started asking questions to get myself out of this. I'm lost. I am not myself. I lost myself. And it was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of being patient with myself and asking the right questions and persistently looking for those answers. Yeah, so what helped me? And it's not just ways how to find yourself or how to not lose yourself ever. It is something that helped me build myself up after this traumatic experience because, as I said, it was a lot. It was very difficult to get back up after whatever this world did to my sensitive, young, pure mind. Because the whole problem, and this is a huge societal issue, I could yap about it for days, the educational system, the whole conspiracy around why it is happening, why they want us to be this way.
You made the Twix double the size trying to make us fat.
It's an interesting conversation, but I'm not going into that right now. Let's just focus on how to build yourself back up, how to not blame the system. Never let the world make you who you are not. Okay, so let's start from the fact that I needed to realize that I got myself. And the word trust is key here. Like, any relationship is built through trust. No matter what happens, no one is going to save you. No one is going to come and explain to you what is your purpose, what you should do, what is the next step. Because in school, it was like that. Because the system wants you to fulfill a certain purpose, to have a function, to have like a certain job. So the system gives you tools and gives you explanation to your purpose that isn't yours, in order for you to have a routine that also isn't yours. If your choice was to not follow it, you are now lost, which is normal because you made a choice. So now you're responsible for building this purpose, building this new routine, and explaining to yourself why you're doing this. And this will provide proof that you got yourself. So this whole process of me experimenting, creating, kind of like realizing what I like, not having friends for a long time, recording very cringe YouTube videos, trying to sing. I did a lot of things to figure out like who I am, to like kind of tune into whatever this is right now. This is the stage of refining your swag. It took me some time to refine it. It took me a few good years to be like, this is Lisa. I enjoy this character. And this is a cringy like stage of finding self-love, discovering, I call it finding God. Like, I found trust in myself. And to do that, I needed to find trust in whatever was guiding me. And that's like a whole different video. So through this not knowing who I am, losing myself, discovered I built my relationship with God. The other thing that can help you through this crisis, because losing yourself is not a fun thing at all. It's not the self-love, healing, face masks, girly, coquette journey. It's soul-crushing. It is difficult. So the other thing that helped me go through it was to talk to my loved ones. There is so much that we have inside that is unexpressed, because we often suffer in our mind. For some time, we need to let these thoughts and ideas marinate, but then if they're left unexpressed, if the suffering, the pain, the love, the confusion, the frustration, the excitement is left unexpressed, it wounds you from the inside. And that's not a healthy mechanism. That's not how nature works. Every seed needs to pop in order for something to grow. This thing needs to leave your body in some way. So what helped me a lot was talking to my loved ones about this. Even if you feel like you don't have these people, which is understandable, you definitely do have at least one person in your circle that is trusted, that is safe. So for me, it was my mom and two of my friends, which was incredible. Very grateful for that. Sometimes talking to my mom and my friends gave me even more anxiety, in a way that it's not this usual like I'm weighing them down with my problems, I'm changing their mood because I'm telling them my issues that I'm not even so confident in, because I don't really have issues, it's just in my mind. You know, I was discrediting my issues because they weren't as physical, they were super weird. I just kind of felt misunderstood and still left alone with my thoughts, because I felt like they didn't understand me, like they didn't have the same issue. As much as I felt, heard, and it helped me express, I didn't feel like I was helping myself with this. Nothing was changing because I expressed this. So I tried to save myself from the DPDR, the dissociative disorder, through going to therapy. And my experience with therapy, talking to a therapist definitely helps. I'll share my therapy experience a bit later in the video, but if you feel like talking to your friends or family members about what you're going through isn't fully enough, like you need to be understood on a different level or listened to professionally with unbiased, objective advice, I recommend using today's sponsor, BetterHelp. I'm sure you heard about BetterHelp before. It's an online therapy platform that connects you to a credentialed therapist who is trained to listen. So it's not just your mom who wants to listen, who needs, like, this person is a professional who will listen to you and give you actual helpful advice that's been through multiple people, that is tested, that proved itself to work. If you just want to experiment, kind of like rediscover your experience with therapy, because I know that experiences can be very different, you can go to their website using this link right here, which will give you a special discount. Or while you're signing up, you can just provide the name of my channel and it will also give you the discount. While I was testing out the site, I really liked how it was matching you to a therapist that is right for you. So basically you take this quiz, which takes like 5 minutes, and you describe your problems, you describe your issues. It's kind of like whatever you're comfortable with, obviously, but it matches you with the exact person who is credentialed to help you. Let's go back to when I tested out therapy in order to get myself out of this I'm lost experience for the first time. So when I was talking to my mom and Ola and Zoo, it wasn't really doing what it was supposed to do. I wasn't solving my issue in any way. I was just so hopeless. This hopeless feeling is insane. Like you actually feel like there's no help in the world. No one can save you. Because that's the truth. No one can save you but you. But you can use tools in order to provide more clarity, to guide yourself. That can be therapy. So I went to therapy with my DPDR. I was so desperate to find any kind of help. I thought I was dying. If you know anything about derealization and depersonalization, it's kind of like you're dead, but you're alive. So I was so terrified, and it was like my last string of hope. I found a therapist who was, I actually wasn't 18 then, so I found a therapist who was just like, yeah, I can take you without your mom. I remember I postponed going to therapy for a very, very long time because first of all, I was scared. Second of all, I felt like no one could help me really. Like I am not even able to understand what I'm going through. With all the tools that I researched on the internet, I understand what derealization is, but in order to provide all that information to a therapist, I'd have to like really work with them and explain to them what I've already learned, because I knew that this subject was so unexplored and new in the psychology, therapy, whatever, brain science, you know. So I had to explain it to them, and I felt so wrong for it. I felt like something was wrong with me, and that's exactly what happened. I went to my first therapist, and the girl was like, oh my God, that sounds very scary. I don't know. You should probably go to a psychiatrist. That's like a level higher from a therapist. And it scared me so much. She was not a bad therapist. Like I could talk to her about my childhood issues and how and why I feel so lonely. But it's the things that I could probably do myself. I couldn't tell her about this one specific issue that I do not know how to solve because she didn't even know this subject. And that completely destroyed me. For a whole year after this appointment, I was just figuring stuff out on my own and exploring, roaming through the internet, trying to find solutions and ways how to regulate my system. A year after that, nothing really changed. Like I still had my derealization. So I went to a second therapist. I told her about this and she was like, And we talked about it. She was like, okay, I don't really know what you're talking about. Okay, derealization, okay, all right. But then she kind of made me talk about it, made me explain the whole situation, the whole what is happening, the whole why I feel lost. We went into why we moved, how it made me feel, why I don't have friends, why I feel like no one understands me, and all of that on top of the story time that you can watch in the other video, why I got derealization disorder. We talked about all these things and she was like, it's going to take you a lot of time to heal this, but you got this. Go girl. And it was my only 2 hours of therapy, the first one and the second one, with 2 different therapists. Like you can clearly see that they helped, but not in the way that I was expecting. And see, nothing in this world really heals you in the way that you expect. Most of the things that you pray for will never come in the exact form that you described, that you expect. And that's the beauty of it, because, you know, it felt like a curse. I felt misunderstood. I left the therapist's office completely lost and hopeless and alone in my mind. I was still battling this derealization. You don't realize, like, it's crazy. The whole experience revolves around you not belonging to this world, and a therapist telling you that, girl, I don't know what it is. The worst thing that you can hear from someone who is supposed to provide hope. But that helped me to understand that I got myself. So that second therapist really talked to me and explained to me the whole chronological nature of this experience and how it happened. And I was looking at it from a different perspective. So I understood the whole concept of therapy and why it's helpful. So I can definitely recommend it for anyone who's dealing with derealization, even if it feels like it's too much, like it's a psychiatry level of an issue. It definitely helps still to talk to someone and explain it, because you kind of can heal your own self with knowing that nothing is wrong with you, and maybe learning something about regulating your nervous system will help you, just get more practical tools how to get yourself out of it, how to slowly heal. And so just talking about the problem also helps, because derealization is just an effect. It's just a symptom of trauma. I feel like at this stage, when I'm no longer in derealization, I just want to yap my heart out and solve some issues that I was neglecting because I was dealing with something bigger, which was the derealization. It still definitely comes back once in a while. Yesterday I had it. Yesterday I had like a pop of, ooh, nothing is real. I can now deal with it better because I know the tools. I built the whole trustworthy relationship with myself. I moved through this on my own. Like, I know how to deal with it. I've been through this, you know what I mean? Like, this whole self-trust experience and building a relationship with yourself is so crucial in getting yourself out of anything. So if you've had any negative or unclear experiences with therapy and you feel like you are ready, you want to re-enter this therapy journey, explore it, definitely check out BetterHelp. Just to experiment, just to see if it will help you, if it's something that you will like. You can try a few therapists. I was literally sitting on the beach talking to the therapist. In this setting, hello Dorothy, I'm recording a video. Could you please give me some grounding tips for derealization? If you're going to check them out, do not forget to use my link because you're going to get a special discount for your first month. And to make this video more practical and give you actual ways how you can help yourself right now, which I really like to do, to leave you with something actually practical that you can use right away. Any relationship, not just the one with yourself, requires discipline, trust, communication, and patience. Trust is what you need to come back to yourself when it gets hard, when you start to lose it. I remember in my previous videos, I was giving you like a protocol, how to do this, how to do that, or like how to meditate. This is actually ways how you can create proof that you can trust yourself, proof that you got your back, a structure to come back to. You need to understand what are your values. What are we working towards? That's what I just explained with the education system. The whole world is trying to create a purpose for you. Your job, if you made a decision that aligns with what I'm talking about, your job is to create that purpose for yourself and not listen to anyone else. So we need to sit still and think, what are our values? You take a pen, you take a piece of paper, and you write down, what are my values? What I like, the color, the fabric that I like, the type of things that match together. Do I like boats or do I like cars? Do I prefer cats or dogs? And then go deeper and ask yourself, what do you think about religion? What do you think about marriage? What do you think about the food system? What are your values? What are we working with? Kind of understand yourself, and that will shift you into growing into the person who you want to be, because your values don't have to be what you are right now. They can be what you want to be. And that's what I want you to write down. What do you actually want to embody? How do you want to move in this world? And that's how you're going to move. Because then the next step is to write down your goals. Where do you want to be in the next 10 years, the next 5 years, the next 3 years? And then write down a plan, not a goal, a plan for 90 days. And do it. And then the next way to create this proof that you got yourself, that you can trust yourself, is to work on a routine, like create a protocol for yourself, like a certain, okay, in the morning I want to do this because I am this type of person who would do this. Like, actually create discipline, patience, communication, and make a routine that you will follow. Accept that it's going to be uncomfortable, that it's going to be new, that it's going to be challenging, but that's something that will provide you proof that you can complete tasks that are getting you closer to who you are, who you feel like you want to be, your purpose. You definitely have history of overcoming challenges, of going through very, very difficult situations in life, of building yourself up after a breakthrough. So remember history, but also create new history with the routines, with the goals, with the visions. You can make vision boards. You can paint. You can make songs about it. You can creating, you know? The whole problem in all of this is that your inner self is unexpressed. Remember to create history through creativity. That's the whole thing. Our inner child is so unexpressed, our inner truth, like our inner self, because we are all children, like we will never die full adults. If you look at a very, very old person, at least I look at a very old person, I see a child. And you creating self-trust and loving yourself and building yourself up to be the person that you want to be is just you reconnecting to that expressive side of purity, of innocence, of expression. Just being a child who wants to create. You create your history through creativity. Create proof that you got yourself, that you are connected to God, that you are one with God through creativity, through navigating this world with tools or without. It's your choice. But if you use tools, you can use BetterHelp. Like, I'm actually very impressed with how the internet allows you to talk about your issues and change your whole perspective on your day by communicating through your phone. You can use your phone more mindfully in a way, like not scroll on the internet and kind of let reels affect your mood, even in a positive way, but you can actually consciously be like, let me affect the whole trajectory of my life through logging into this therapy session. That's impressive. We are all on one rock. This is the same background that you can also see. You can pull up here and also see this. We're basically neighbors. We're going through the same things on the same planet. That's incredible. I'm so glad that I'm able to like express this way and help people. I don't know, it makes me happy. Like I genuinely feel like I'm doing something great. And that's kind of like my purpose, you know?